Millions of people use ChatGPT every day to write code, synthesize research, and draft professional documents. When the system returns a perfectly formatted answer in seconds, it feels like we're interacting with an all-knowing digital brain. But the system has a blind spot that humans don't. If we ask it a simple, impossible question, who won the World Cup in 2040? Instead of flagging the error, the AI often provides a highly detailed response. It might name a winning team, describe the final match, and list specific players, all delivered with total confidence, even though the event hasn't happened yet. If you asked a person this question, they would instantly spot the chronological mistake. Humans naturally experience doubt when information doesn't line up. The AI, however, continues as if nothing is wrong. It doesn't pause to check the logic of the timeline or consider if the request is actually possible. It treats the prompt the same way it treats any other command. This is an AI hallucination, and understanding why the machine produces these errors reveals the mechanical process that defines how modern artificial intelligence actually works. ChatGPT is a large language model. Its training involved reading trillions of words to learn the statistical patterns of human communication, rather than memorizing a literal database of every fact ever written. Look at this simple sentence: ChatGPT is amazing. The system doesn't see this as a complete human idea. Instead, it breaks the text down into small, digestible units called tokens. The model mathematically slices your input into these fragments. A token might be a whole word, a part of a word, or even just a single punctuation mark. During its training, the AI maps the statistical relationships between millions of these tokens. It calculates how often certain tokens appear near one another and the specific distances between them in a sentence. For the machine, language is a map of probabilities. It doesn't need to understand what a word means. It only needs to know which tokens are likely to appear together. This brings us to the system's primary function, next token prediction. When you see text appearing on your screen, the model is asking one specific question: what piece of text is statistically most likely to come next? Based on the tokens that came before, the system calculates the likelihood of every word in its vocabulary. Because the tokens capital of France and is are frequently followed by Paris in training data, that token receives the highest score and is selected. This explains our 2040 World Cup error. The AI doesn't know that the year hasn't happened. It knows the token World Cup is strongly associated with sports commentary, victory descriptions, and names of countries. The system prioritizes following the linguistic pattern over verifying the date. It generates an answer because its entire architecture is designed to predict the most probable sequence of words, regardless of whether those words represent a reality that exists. This is why hallucinations happen. They aren't intentional lies. They are the result of a machine choosing the most likely word in a sequence without a mechanism to confirm if the information is true. When we recognize that ChatGPT is a prediction engine rather than a thinking mind, we can use it more effectively. It is an excellent tool for tasks where the goal is creative generation, like brainstorming a list of names, drafting an email, or restructuring a long article. Contrast this with fields where accuracy is the primary requirement, like medical advice, legal research, or financial planning. In these scenarios, the machine's tendency to prioritize probability over truth makes human verification a necessity. Future AI models will integrate better memory and real-time fact-checking. However, the core mechanism, predicting the next token, will remain the foundation of how these language models communicate. The next time you hit enter on a prompt, remember what's happening behind the screen. You aren't speaking to a mind that understands the world. You're speaking to a mathematical prediction of what you expect to hear next.